Hey guys, it's Jack here from Peach Guitars, and it's my pleasure today to introduce you to the brand new Suhr PT15 amplifier. So this amp came out at NAMM this year, and this is essentially a smaller version of Pete Thorn's signature 100 watt Suhr amplifier that he's had out for a number of years. So for anyone who's familiar with that amplifier, it's a 3-channel amp, and that's exactly what you've got here on the 15. So the 15 watts that this amplifier will give you is more than enough to go out and gig with. It's a loud 15 watts if you connect a cabinet. But the great thing about not having to physically connect a speaker cabinet is that you can drive this power section. It's loaded with 6 V6s, so that's a really sweet power tube to overdrive, particularly on the clean channel. So you'll find that if you do push the gain on the clean, you get that really nice natural tube saturation that you'd only previously be able to get by cranking up an amp really loud. But you can do that here. But also 15 watts is plenty of headroom so that when you're on the higher gain tones, it still holds it together really well. And as you'll hear in the clips, when I'm playing quite high gain and quite aggressive rhythm stuff, it still holds it together, it doesn't mush out at all. But there's a really cool addition to this amp, which is the IR section. So what they've done is they've crammed in their reactive load. They updated the reactive load last year to feature the ability to host IRs in the unit. So what that means is you can plug your amplifier straight into the reactive load, plug it straight into either your recording software or straight out to front of house for live use, and it will give you 16 different speaker simulations. So this amplifier actually has that built in on board. And the really cool thing about this amp is that per channel you can store and use a different IR so that you can get 3 completely different sounds from one another. You're not just fixed to one specific sound. So as you can see here, I've hooked up the channel switching, and as I change channel from the green clean channel to channel 2, the IR lights on the side here change to signify that I'm actually using a completely different IR. Same thing when I go to channel 3. So that's really easy to store, and it's really helpful to really fine-tune and sculpt each tone that you want out of those respective 3 channels. And it can kind of help you compensate for the fact that channels 2 and 3 share a 3-band EQ. All 3 channels have their own respective bright switches, so you can kind of get a different response from each channel that way. But in short, this is just a great sounding 3-channel amplifier with a bunch of really cool features. Having that load built in actually means that you can use this amplifier without a speaker cabinet at all. So that's what we're doing here today. This amp is plugged straight into our recording interface. I'm not using a speaker cab. There's no load connected to this amp because it's actually internal. So it's a really, really great tool to use if you're playing at home. If you want to go out and play live, you don't need to take a speaker cabinet. And also just for any kind of recording situation, this is invaluable. And the best thing is that you can still use a speaker cabinet at the same time if you want to. So you can play live, get your cabinet tone on stage, but you can rely on the IRs that are built in to actually get your recorded or your front of house tone. So another thing that's really cool is you've got a headphone socket on this amplifier, so that just makes it brilliant for playing at home as well. If you just want to practice, again, without a speaker cabinet at all, you can just plug into your fully valve amplifier, which isn't really something that you've been able to do with many amps on the market before, and especially with nothing that the quality of a Suhr product is going to give you. So as I mentioned, the IR section of this amplifier is pretty much exactly the same as what you get in Suhr's Reactive Load IR box as well. So you've got 4 banks of 4 IRs built into the amplifier, but you also have the option on the back panel to bypass the internal IRs. So if you want to use IRs in your recording software and just get the tone of the amplifier loaded down, you can do that. And there's also a USB socket on the amplifier which will enable you to import your own IRs. So if you've got custom IRs that you've either made yourself or downloaded from the internet, you can use those with this amp as well and store them inside. I will also just say that if you want any more info on how the reactive load section of this amplifier works, you can find a link down in the description box below to the video that we did when that product debuted last year. So if you want to find out more about how IRs are useful for you in recording and live situations, check out that video where we detailed that a bit more thoroughly. So the way we've got this hooked up today is I'm using a Line 6 HX effects, which is actually something that Pete detailed on his own YouTube channel, where he talked about using a really compact kind of rig that you can take out and gig with quite happily to do all your switching and also provide some effects. So I'm using the HX to switch between the 3 channels, and also to apply a couple of effects. So in the clips you're going to hear a little bit of chorus and delay, and that's all coming from the Line 6 HX effects, which is running in the effects loop of the amp. So I'm going to run you through all three tones that the amp will give you, as well as I'm throwing in a Suhr Sheba Drive Mini on the clean channel, just so you can hear how well the clean channel takes pedals. So for all the tones I'm going to get today in this video, I'm just using one guitar. I'm using an Alt-T Pro from Suhr, which is a really versatile instrument, and it just shows how well it marries up with an amplifier like that, where you can get a bunch of great sounds just by changing the pickups and changing the channels really easily. And as I said, I am using a Line 6 HX effects to switch the channels, but the amp does come with its own foot switch, and you can use any kind of TRS latching foot switch to change channels on the amp. Now, if you want some more info on this amplifier, of course, Pete Thorn is the king of YouTube demos. He's created a bunch of great videos where he really details everything that this amplifier is capable of. But what I wanted to do here today was just, as I mentioned, give you an introduction to it. I've dialed in three of what I consider to be my favourite tones on this amplifier, and I hope you'll agree it sounds fantastic. But if you do want any more information on it, you can find that out on Pete Thorn's videos, as well as Suhr's official videos. But we're going to be featuring this amplifier quite heavily in the future too, so you're going to hear plenty of tones coming from it. If you've enjoyed this little introduction, please give us a like after you've finished hearing the video. You can comment down there with your thoughts and let us know what you think. Please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and if you want any more info on any of Suhr's products, you can find it out by clicking the link down in the description box below and going to peachguitars.com. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoy the video. Stay tuned, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. folks, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please give us a like and comment down below if you have. Please hit that subscribe button too if you haven't already, so you don't miss any future content from us. And if you want any more info on any of Suhr's products, you can find it all out by clicking the link down in the description box below and going to peachguitars.com. So thanks so much for watching, stay tuned, and I'll see you next time.